Hey, I'm the Reverend Russell, and here with the Hardest Question Senior Contributing Editor, Reverend Dr. Mark Stenberg, and we are talking to you today about Ordinary 31C, and it's Luke 19, 1 through 10. It's the one about the Scottish tax collector. You know, the wee little man.
Oh, gosh.
I know, that's bad.
Yeah.
I only get to tell that joke every 3 years. So. Yeah, so this is the story of Zacchaeus, and we all know that. It's hard to even read this without that song going through your head, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you bring that up?
I know. Now you're hearing it, and but we think we have this idea that that he's this wee little man, and he really wants to see the Savior super bad, but he can't because he's short and everybody. He's trying to peek through people, around their legs,
falling out of the tree.
So then he runs and he climbs up a tree and he's trying to peek through the branches because he just wants to see the Lord.
And Jesus, knowing that he's Jesus.
Yeah,
knowing us, knowing Jesus.
Yes, right.
Sees him.
Jesus sees him.
Magical.
Yeah, you're right, and says, "I'm coming to your house today." Right, but that's not in the text, in none of that. It says he went and he climbed. It says he was chief tax collector and he was rich. What did you call him?
King of the thugs.
Yeah, he's the king of the thugs. He's the big man here. It doesn't say that he snuck up in the tree and is peeking through the bushes. He's little and he wants to be big, so he goes up and he stands up in this tree. So when Jesus comes by him, Jesus has to look up at him. You know, that's what the text says.
Yeah.
And so we think of him as this like little cute guy, cute little tax collector guy, but he is really king of the thugs. And Jesus wants to go to his house anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's a good get for Zacchaeus. You know, that this guy comes to his house.
Yeah.
And maybe just improves his status, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jesus says today salvation has come to this house because he too is a son of Abraham. For the son of Abraham came to seek out and to save the lost.
And son of Abraham parallels daughter of Abraham, of a woman chapters before this. The woman who's bent over for how many years, and he restores her and says, "You are a daughter of Abraham."
So Jesus is reclaiming these children of Abraham.
Entering Jericho.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean,
when
he says he enters Jericho, this is how they originally enter the Promised Land, right? They come in through Jericho. So to have Jesus enter Jericho.
And how do they leave the Promised Land?
Ooh, and then during the exile, they exit, they're taken captive, and they take them out through Jericho, out of the Promised Land, and then they...
Undoing the promise.
And then they
getting lost again.
And then they kill the king in Jericho.
And the king is killed.
And they leave.
Taken into exile.
And they're taken into exile, so the promise is undone. They leave. And so is Jesus re-entering?
And they're lost.
They're lost. They're totally lost.
Yeah.
And so is Jesus here re-entering and into the Promised Land, re-establishing the promise here, and reclaiming them as the lost sons and daughters of Abraham?
I think that's a wonderful reading.
Yeah, I think
that's a great reading. So what's the hardest question?
Yeah, the hardest question is, I don't know, I think maybe it might be, I don't usually like to ask, questions like, what do we do or what do we bring to it? But I think this is an interpretive question. How do we de-sentimentalize this text?
Right.
Because not only for us, you read this in church on Sunday, and people are not going to think automatically, oh, he entered through Jericho, just like the Promised Land. No, they're going to be singing that song in their head, thinking of the wee little man.
Yeah.
So that's how do you de-sentimentalize this text and get it really is this beautiful story.
Radical restoration of the lost people.
Yeah. Reestablishing this promise.
Yeah.
So let us know how you read the text. Thanks.